Forget optimism, be pessimistic if you want to actually achieve your goals. In this video, I won't be giving you generic advice, have a growth mindset. I'll be speaking about how using pessimism helped me lose 80+ pounds within a year. This is why pessimism is so powerful. It's because it grounds you. It sets real life expectations. You see, a lot of people are optimists about the time frame in which you're going to accomplish the goal. That's why you hear about all these, oh yeah, get 6-pack abs in 6 weeks. They are unrealistic. It actually takes much longer for you to achieve your goal than you think. Let's just say you go to the gym and you want to bench like 225 pounds. Why does it take some people 2, 3, 4, 5 years to accomplish that goal? It's because it doesn't happen in a linear fashion. It takes time. And when it happens exponential, you're gonna go through this lonely phase or this phase in which you're not getting much results, because that's typically how life works. But then you get to a certain point in which all of it just compounds, and then it just shoots off like a rocket, and then you achieve your goal just all of a sudden. If you have optimism, you're actually gonna believe in yourself to actually start. A lot of people tend not to start on risk because they believe that it's gonna go wrong, in which they're being pessimistic. So it may sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I'd like to move on to my next point, in which is non-binary thinking. Non-binary thinking is when you stop thinking of either or, like black and white. Majority of things in the world is gray. Okay, so let me give you an example. Binary thinking would be, this person is charismatic or he's not. This person is charming or he's not. This person is strong or he's not. You see, life don't work that way. It's more like, how charismatic are you? How strong are you? Or how charming are you? Are you charismatic to a point where it's like you and a couple of friends? Or like, do you get very nervous when there's a whole bunch of people around and you don't say much? Or can you, lift more than possibly like your relatives? Or can you lift more than, powerlifters, for example? And with that being said, let's just see how we can combine both non-binary thinking with optimism and pessimism. I would say be optimistic about the input goals. Be courageous, take the risk, and actually do the thing. Instead of thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this amount of money. Think about, okay, I'm gonna do this amount of outreach. Okay, I'm gonna upload this amount of videos. Even though you want to grow, the goal is to do the inputs. But be pessimistic about the when. Like, this thing's gonna happen in like 3 months, but maybe it's gonna happen like 1 to 2 years. Because when you do that, let's just say you don't accomplish your goal within those 3 months. You already know that's gonna happen. So now you're not feeling that bad, because let's just say you was optimistic that you gotta accomplish your goal in the next 3 months, but then if you don't accomplish it, you're gonna see yourself as a failure, and then you're just gonna ultimately give up. That's exactly what you don't want. As humans, we do have emotions, and it does persuade our thinking a bit. But those who are highly trained can just be emotional or feel the emotions and just completely ignore it. But if you're in the beginning, similar to like me, then emotions can get very overwhelming. So the best way I like to control my emotions is just to be pessimistic about the when. The next one, choose to simplify your life so that you're able to stay consistent. Because to stick to a diet, it's much easier to avoid unhealthy foods than it is to stick to healthy foods. Because if you avoid the unhealthy foods, then what's left? The healthy foods. And what would you even typically suspect as unhealthy food? Well, that's a very long conversation, and that's like for a whole nother video. But essentially, I'll say ultra processed foods, but typically the ones that are fried and the ones that are baked with excessive sugar and excessive trans fat, because those really do harm to your health. There's some ultra processed foods that are really great for your health, like whey protein. So don't just credit all ultra processed foods as bad, but majority of them are bad because the companies optimize them for us to be addicted to them. Move on to actionable scaling. There's 3 types of scale. So we got better, more, or new. Typically, most people like to do new. And for example, let's just say you're working out and you're trying to progress on a certain exercise. A lot of people will reach a plateau, but then they'll just go ahead and switch the exercise, do a whole new routine. Everything just switch like that. Instead of trying to do that, try to maybe improve the outside factors, maybe like your sleep or your diet, or just during the time that you train. Me personally, I don't really get good workouts in the morning. Me personally, I'm more of the afternoon type of person. Let's move on to more. Let's just say you reach a certain point with your diet and you're not losing much more weight, and you're eating at like a 500 to 750 calorie deficit. instead of trying to give up and just forget about all of it, try to actually eat more. Go on a calorie maintenance for a week to give your body a break, and then go right back into the fat loss phase. That could really help you, and that's something that I wish I had done during my journey. The only times I would suggest to do something new is when you've been trying something for constant months, but nothing seeming to work. Let's just say you're trying to progress on a bench press, and no matter how much bench pressing you do, you just can't go past 135. And unfortunately, that's what happened to me. I couldn't progress beyond 135, and I was just stuck for a very long time. So I eventually had to switch the workout. Try to measure your progress monthly, weekly, semi-daily. Because me personally, for my workouts, I use an app called Strong, and that's where you can update your reps, your sets, and all that. And you can see like a chart, like showing if you're going up or if you're going down. So that's what something, and it made me realize that I needed to switch to bench press because it was just stalling, and then it just went down. The next one, goal structuring. Break your goals into manageable pieces. So you're gonna put your goals into 3 categories: superordinate, subordinate, or intermediate goals. This is something I've been doing, but I didn't have like a name for it. And this is where I actually got the name from, this book right here. And it helped me like just come up with a name. And superordinate goals are like the overall mission. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? For some people who's on the fitness journey, they may want to become like an expert and want to help people all around the world. Or they just want to be able to make a difference in their city and their state, and that's their overall long-term goal. So he made this book so that he can help people outside the fitness space and be able to understand how to build muscle pretty easily, and everybody just, have that resources to get jacked. Intermediate goals, our goals are like within the next months or just couple of years. Build like 10 pounds of muscle. Just those very vague goals. All these goals are just very vague. It's just that it gives you a sense of direction where you're going. And then subordinate are just like the daily goals are also vague. Like, go to the gym consistently, stay on the diet consistently, make sure to eat the right foods that you're supposed to, make sure that you get your cardio done, etc. Just very vague, very specific goals that you do on a daily or a weekly basis. Detach from the outcome and commit to the inputs. Whatever the outcome is, it is what it is. You can't just control everything in life. It's very important just to commit to the input, do your best to actually put in the work, and whatever the outcome is doesn't define it. Because what defines you is the ways that you go through failure and get back up. Anybody can get lucky and succeed and keep going. But those who go through multiple attempts of failures, like for example, Alex Hormozi, who went through 9 businesses to find the right one, the one that actually amounted to something. So, some things are just going to take time, and when you fail, that builds your mental resilience to be able to handle more in the long run. And when you finally get through that chapter in which it was very hard for you, you get to talk about it in all the podcasts and all the videos, and more people who are going through that chapter will be more inspired towards you. And you'll gain a whole bunch of supporters that you wouldn't have if you didn't go through that chapter. And with that being said, always take it one step at a time, because you may never know where that one step may lead you.